Hey everybody, I hope that you're all doing well. What I was seeing in the pre-shuffle was connected with trying to figure out what the best next step is to be taking, but there can be some stuff going on that makes that not feel so clear or not so easy to discern, which makes it seem like maybe you have different ways that you can approach something, or even you're at a point where you're like, I could go in this direction, I could go in that direction. I'm not really sure what the best thing is for me to be doing here. I'm seeing Queen of Swords and I'm seeing Nine of Swords. So maybe you actually have already discerned what the best direction is for you to go in, but having Nine of Swords, you can feel anxiety about doing that, or you can feel like concerned about doing that, or you can feel like, you know, when you get so stuck in your head that you start like doubting things, and then like maybe you feel scared about something, that can be coming up too. Yeah, this is feeling like the direction is really clear, but you can feel anxious because of the unknown factors that would be associated with going in that direction. I think that you're gonna do this anyway. That doesn't make it go away how it is that you're feeling, but I'm seeing it like that's not gonna stop you, sort of thing. Like, I can be scared and I can do it anyway. Or I can feel worried and I can do it anyway. I'm gonna trust my discernment here. So that's what it looks like is taking place. I am seeing Cancer coming out here, and we also have an air sign. I think you've been working a lot with yourself lately and being present to like what you're actually thinking and honoring that. Okay, so there's definitely a new wave that you're connecting with. I think doing things in this way is different for you, and that can be part of why you're still kind of like figuring out how to do that. You know, if you go into something and it is kind of like a new situation for you to be in, it can sometimes take some time to figure out like the best way to maneuver through it, where you don't just automatically know things and you're still figuring it out, and you want to make sure that you're not like missing anything important. I see that too here with this. But I think overall this can be like definitely unfamiliar to you, and it can also be something that just feels uncomfortable because of that. Like, this is the right way and it also feels uncomfortable, and like I'm trying something new out here and I don't really know how it's gonna go, and I'm trying to be as like wise and present as possible as I move through this, but I feel like this is really the right choice for me to be making. And I don't really know what's gonna happen, but it's willing to me if I'm feeling called in this direction, and I am, to explore it and to kind of see what's gonna happen, because I think you feel like it's better than the alternative, but I'm getting something specifically like you have a strong feeling to go in this direction, and it can be something where even though it can feel uncomfortable or unfamiliar, you don't want to dismiss the part of you that is guiding you this way. And that's on your heart. So sure, there can be some stuff popping up where you're like, I don't know what's gonna happen, where are things gonna go, how's stuff gonna unfold. At the same time, this feels like you're not gonna hang up that call, you're gonna answer it. Feels like a new world for you on the emotional front as well. I see you've been being present, more present within your relationship with yourself. This also feels like there may be some sacrifices that have to be made for the greater good of your life. And that can be something too, where you're like, am I really like ready to risk it all for this, for things to be potentially really amazing? and that you feel this is the right way to go. I think you're still like learning how to trust yourself. I'm getting this feeling again that I want to describe. This doesn't feel like I'm just randomly feeling like I should go this way, and I'm not doing my research, and I'm not really paying attention, and this is kind of like on a whim, and like maybe I'm inspired, but then I'm gonna look back and be like, that was really foolish. I'm not seeing it be one of those like impulsive explorations of something. I'm seeing something that looks very genuine. And I'm seeing something that looks like exploring a new side of your connection with yourself in a way that you have maybe not allowed yourself to. So this can be a side of you that's like very, very real, but kind of unexplored. And because of stepping into that, it can be something that you're stepping into with some caution here, starting with Queen of Swords. So even though it's just like you exploring more of yourself and your relationship with yourself and what you really are meant to kind of like bind with in a way, this is like the things that feel at home when you connect with it because it's so genuinely resonating with you. So this is connected with a deeper sense of authenticity that you are connecting with, and emotional honesty, Uranus and Cancer, and having King of Cups there too. So you can be getting really, really honest about how you feel about things and where you are with things, and exploring parts of yourself that maybe you weren't exploring before. And this can also be exploring connections that you weren't exploring before too. That can be something as well. But I will say this again, I'm not just seeing it be like without a cause. This feels like something that you're going into where I think that if you could dismiss this, you would, but it feels too strong. And so you're doing it just because you're really honoring what's coming up for you. But I'm seeing you be very, very mindful about the way that you're doing this. So I'm seeing you paying a lot of attention. I'm not seeing you moving too quickly here, but I am seeing something that you're actively pursuing, moving in this direction. I think that this is also like you're figuring stuff out about like what's gonna feel peaceful, restorative, and stable for you in a way that you feel happy with. In a way where the way that things work, it feels like harmonious to you. And this can also be something that you're figuring out too, because you're connecting more with that side of you, like on the emotional front, that's like, this doesn't work, or this does work, or I think this would be good together. There's some of this that's happening here where I think this is going to impact like discerning what your everyday ideally would look like. And that also means discerning what your everyday, not ideally, would look like too. So if you have stuff going on where you're like, why is this my life every day? Now can be a time when you're like, well, what would I rather have it be like? What do I think would fit better here? And that's also part of what's being explored too. So this is something that like, on a daily basis, this is something that impacts you. This isn't just some big thing that you're doing that's like an event or something like that. This feels like some type of like reconfigurating that's happening because you're being more present to yourself and getting more in touch with what you actually feel like goes together within your life and what you want your like day in and day out to feel like overall to you, and being in a place where you're more so connecting with that part of you that has something to say about these things. And I think this is allowing space for more joy as well, because I am seeing a new chapter getting started. And yeah, some of you can be exploring a situation with another person, but it can be like a new way of living that's being explored. And I think more than anything, this is going to come down to a new chapter that you're beginning with yourself. Because what's it going to mean to you if things may appear okay with another person, but on the inside, there's something off for you. So this is about starting that process from within and discerning things that are coming up for you that maybe are like strange to you or maybe are unfamiliar to you. And even though it's these sides of yourself that are very, very real and very, very genuine, at the same time, it can be something where you're like, maybe I was uncomfortable with this part of myself before. Or maybe I just felt like it was easier for me to go this way, even though it felt like it didn't like fit totally properly. So there can be these sorts of things that are coming up for you too, where this doesn't feel like some foreign energy that's just appearing in your life. This feels like taking off what was maybe blocking you from certain aspects of your own authenticity. But I'm seeing you very cautiously exploring this, very, very cautiously. And maybe that's just the way that you're doing it right now. Like, I'm not really seeing this fiery approach that's being taken. If anything, it's just more kind of like surveying and kind of moving in that direction, but not to the point where you can't kind of take a couple steps back if you want to. It's like this way. Like gingerly approaching this. Because maybe you also don't want to overwhelm yourself too. Like maybe you're like, I know that I'm going in this direction and I don't need to rush going in that direction either. And I don't want to overwhelm myself by this because I think this is just very, very new for you and very, very different. And maybe you're also gauging how okay you are with like how maybe different things are. And I think there's a lot of maybe permission as well that you're giving yourself to be doing this as well. There's a lot of doubt that I'm seeing here with this. Having 5 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, you can feel very unsure. There can be a concern about like whether or not you're going to be supported in doing this. There can be stuff that's coming up that's associated with your own self-esteem and self-worth. This can be something that challenges your faith in a process that you're undergoing currently. And this can also bring up some sort of fear of like abandonment or of being like cast out or cast away or not accepted in some way. This feels like one of those things where you almost feel like you have no other choice than to do this, and it may not be your first choice to go in this direction, but you kind of feel like you have to do this for yourself. That's the way that it feels to me. And it seems like this is also setting something up for you that's associated with what you're kind of evolving into, even. Like there's something about that. Like there can be something about like public perception that's associated with this, or like other people being aware of what's going on within your life. That can be something too. What you're choosing to do and sign yourself up for, that can be part of this as well. Kind of like what you identify as, whether it be within your personal life, it be among people that you know, it be in a work setting. I'm seeing stuff about identity that's coming up here with the King of Pentacles. And this, I see King of Pentacles as more so being like more public identity. So there can be stuff about that that's associated with this, where you're just figuring stuff out like that. But I feel like there's not this like unleashing completely and stepping into this energy full force and going like really fast through it. This feels like a very tempered way of moving through the process. And I think that part of it is because you're like getting to know yourself better and what you want to be doing and where you want to be going and what actually feels right rather than forced. where it feels genuine for you. And because of doing that, that can be something where you're still learning how to get in touch with yourself. The way that this Queen of Swords is coming off to me is reminding me of like earth or air placements that get sort of stifled, where there's a lack of connection with fire and water. And I see fire and water as being like these very organic, like natural, even like animalistic, like you can't even help it instincts that come up. And I think that fire, air can be so cerebral that it kind of like takes you out of the feeling in your body. And so we can like lose touch with the sensations and the feelings that we're getting, and ultimately our instinct and intuition when we are stifling that energy, or when we're living too much in our heads. So it's like, I don't even know how I really feel about this, or I can't even tell like where I'm feeling that within my body right now. There can be this disconnect, kind of like, you know how air energy can sometimes be seen as being like a little bit robotic, or like a little bit, not all energy, but it's like when it gets pushed too far in an extreme where there's a lack of the other elements there. When we get pushed too far into the air energy, and I'm speaking about air because we're starting off with Queen of Swords here, there can be this like distancing that happens, and this intellectualizing to the point where it's like all this like rationale that really loses touch with the lower chakras of feeling, where there's like no heart really involved, and no passion really involved, and no attraction really involved. It like becomes something else. So I think this is like a thawing out that's happening to get back in touch with these feelings that you may have distanced yourself from, and usually for good reason. Like we've needed to survive and kind of like cut certain things off, or we had to like be an adult and grow up, or be able to take something and not get our feelings hurt, you know, and have to figure out those situations. And slowly it can just chip away at your connection with yourself. And having the only major arcanas here be Cancer, which Cancer is ruled by the moon, and the moon is your innermost self. It is your mind, it is your feelings, it is like everything that's going on internally. It's connected with your higher self, it's connected with your soul. And then having Uranus, which Uranus is an energy that's like your most authentic self. Like if you were just giving yourself permission to be you without any sort of like changing because of this like perceived judgment, those are those two energies. So this is like on the emotional front, and moon is more than just your emotion. It's like everything going on within, like the version of you that's like inside, that's connected with your perspective and your feeling and your soul. Having Uranus there is kind of like the gateway to open up for you to embody your energy as authentically as possible, as genuinely as possible. So this is the process that's unfolding. But having Five of Pentacles can be the things that scare you, the things that freak you out, that push you back into a box that you don't belong in, that it seems like you're trying to come out of now. And yeah, I just see this like wanting to get more in touch with yourself, as, or like maybe even to knock away the things that get in the way of you feeling that sense of deeper connection with yourself. And I am seeing something that looks like it's en route with this happening, but there can still be a lot of like, am I really gonna give myself permission to do this? And in my head, I feel like it's not gonna work for some reason. And because we're having King of Pentacles and Five of Pentacles, like for those of you that there could be resources involved, that can also be something that you're worried about. Like if I let myself go towards something that I feel passionate about, King of Pentacles, Page of Wands, if I let myself go in the direction of something that I feel passionate about, something that I truly feel connected with and would love doing, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, what's the concern of the King of Pentacles? To be able to take care of yourself, to be able to provide, to be able to make it, to be useful, to be wanted, to be appreciated, to be valued when it comes to what it is that you're stepping into. Five of Pentacles can be like, I'm scared that I won't be. I'm scared that I won't be able to. I'm scared that I won't stay afloat, that I'm not going to be able to make this work, that other people aren't going to see the value in what it is that I'm doing. So this can be something that ultimately is being confronted, that is just part of this process for you. And what the prize basically is for this, or like what the byproduct, what the effect of this is something that you're doing every day, things that you're up to every day, interactions that you're having every day, roles that you're stepping into every day, that you actually like love what that's doing for your life. That you feel excited to participate in your life every day, for the most part. So you generally feel a sense of like well-being and peace with the way that things are functioning. This is all to move in that direction. This is all to manifest that within your life. And I'm seeing sustainability be a part of this too. Like this is something that like genuinely, because of feeling happy with what's going on every day, it feels really sustainable. You're not feeling burnt out. You're not like having to find your motivation every other day because you're not really vibing with what it is that you're doing. And because there's not really so much just a rule book for everybody to figure this out, this feels like you have to constantly get in touch with your feelings and use your discernment and play hot and cold with this process of figuring out what is like a yes going in that direction versus what is a no, you're going the wrong way here and we need to turn it around. So there's a lot of this that's being figured out currently, but it is a new wave for sure. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting and for tuning in. I think that's something else that's coming up that's associated with this is this belief that you may have that if you were to really like be yourself, do what you want, follow your heart, you're not going to be supported. And this is like a big theme, I think, overall that's coming up that's connected with this. I want to thank everyone for connecting. I am sending all of you love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.